While Senator Ron Wyden visiting Eugene earlier today to discuss with business owners his bipartisan tax relief bill that would help them grow and create jobs, the senator taking some time out from the day to come out here and join us at the studio. Senator, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's talk about the reason why you're in town and talk about the Tax Relief for American Workers and Families Act. How exactly would this help small businesses and families?
Well, for example, the research and development tax credit is included, and that's hugely important for Oregon's small businesses. In fact, a lot of small businesses without the tax credit can't make payroll, and this legislation is going to help millions of businesses across the country, but so many in Oregon, because after you're done counting a handful of big businesses like maybe Intel and Providence, the businesses in the metro area, we're overwhelmingly a small business state, and this bill of mine that is bipartisan with Republican Chair Jason Smith is going to be a lifeline for them.
Now, I know you're a little frustrated about the progress or the status of the bill. Where does it currently sit?
Well, first of all, the Republican leadership is the challenge. The rank and file want to support this bill. They know it's really going to make a difference for these small businesses, and I think that we're going to get this on the floor. I think we're going to get a big vote. Some of the Senate Republican leadership keeps saying, let's wait till 2025. Well, the reality is these small businesses come to me and say, Ron, we're not going to be around in 2025. You need to do it now.
Well, speaking of 2025, let's talk about leadership, because obviously a big topic of today was last night's presidential debate. How exactly would you characterize President Biden's performance last night?
Well, let's talk about what I think was really central there. At one point, Donald Trump kept talking about firing people and suggested that maybe Biden wasn't doing that. Well, the fact of the matter is the American people fired Donald Trump for cause in 2020. And I believe with all that lying and all that complaining last night, they are not going to rehire him in 2024.
Well, I know there was a lot of criticism about the performance last night, and there was some suggestions that he drop out of the race. Is that an actual valid concern amongst the Democratic Party?
You know, the president basically said today, look, that was one night. I can tell you, as chairman of the Senate Finance Committee, I work closely with the White House and their staff and the president. We got a record piece of legislation in terms of holding down healthcare costs by negotiating the costs of pharmaceuticals. I wrote the biggest climate investment in American history by changing tax law and a minimum tax on corporations. The president, the White House were directly involved with me. That's leadership. That's what the American people want.
Well, I know one of the big topics last night was abortion, and over the last couple of weeks, the Supreme Court ruling on a couple of abortion cases. You had one which allows the abortion pill to remain widely available, and then the other in which they dismissed a case about Idaho's strict abortion laws. What exactly is the effect of those decisions on abortion rights?
Well, this court is chipping away at a basic proposition that Oregonians don't agree with. Oregonians believe that this should be a matter of private choice for women and their physician. And now the Supreme Court is basically chipping away at that and putting the government in the position of making too much of these various kinds of options, and it's wrong.
Well, and actually earlier this week, we had a story in which we've seen a lot of people from Idaho fleeing, coming to Oregon in order to seek care. How exactly do states that are seeing that influx of patients handle this overflow?
Here's the challenge. I saw the Dobbs case, you know, early in the draft part when it was leaked, and I knew that women were going to have their personal data weaponized against them. Now, today, an automobile is basically a computer on wheels. And what happens is when these women are traveling from state to state, their data can get out to prosecutors who don't share the view that this should be a private choice and women are at risk.
Do you think the Supreme Court then is sidestepping this issue or just kicking it down the road?
Well, they're clearly trying to kick it down the road. I mean, they know that an election is coming up, but the direction they're moving is unquestionably in the area of taking away the private rights of women. I think it should be their choice.
Okay, well, last topic, wildfire season is upon us. We mentioned this early in the show about fires already burning in the state. What legislative steps have been taken to get us prepared for this upcoming fire season?
First of all, we need to understand that these are not your grandfather's fires. They're bigger, they're hotter, they're more powerful, they're leaping over rivers. I'm working on prescribed burns, when you can go in when it's a little bit cooler and clean out that dead and dying material that's such a magnet for a lightning strike or something in the summer. And second, we've got to pay firefighters a competitive wage. I have all these town meetings around the state. I see signs, help wanted. They're always paying those folks more than they're paying firefighters.
Okay, Senator, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining us in the studio this evening.
Let's
Always
do
a
it
pleasure.
again.
Yeah, we will do it again. All
Thank
right,
you.
thank you.